I'll give this a shot. I don't know how this is going to work out, folks, as I am in the middle of Kansas, and I'm just surprised I got any kind of cell phone signal. I said, the hell with it. Might as well just go ahead and give it a shot, do a live stream. Give people an update on a few things that they either know or unwillingly know or just don't know what's been going on. Because you can't rely on American media to tell the truth or to give all the information. Because a lot of important information is withheld. I think it was in not my last live stream, but the one before that. I had talked about people that are on Social Security, that our government had a bill before it called Social Security Sunset. That means they were wanting to get rid of it. The right wing, which that's all we have here in the United States, we don't have a left. Even though they identify the Democrats as the left, they're not left. Everybody in Europe that has half a brain would tell you that they're not left. They're right wing. When Bill Clinton shifted the Democrats over to the right back in the late 90s, the Republicans realized that, so they shifted further to the right. They went crazy. And now you pretty much will see that, yeah, they went crazy. It's obvious. But just to let everybody know, during the lockdowns, every Western country in the world, except for the United States, the workers got a paycheck every week. They didn't go heavily into debt, get way behind in their house payments. No, none of that happened to people except for the people here in the United States. And now we're starting to see the results of that, because when I went into the TA there in Nashville back in January, there wasn't there wasn't any homeless people up on the embankment of the interstate there. And when I did the video, I did a short live stream of it and showed everybody that didn't exist a year prior, because I had stopped in there a year before that. Yeah, there are tents, awnings, broken down cars. I mean, it was ridiculous. And that TA next to downtown Nashville looks like a freaking junkyard. And there was a lot of broken down trucks that look like they haven't moved in about a year. There was literally no parking, and I was actually very angry because I was wanting to park there because it's right by downtown. You know, $20 at most for an Uber to take me into the city, and to go to Wannabe's and a few places I wanted to go. So I had to continue on, and I found a truck stop between Nashville and Knoxville that day. But I don't know if any of you know this, but they raised the retirement age for Social Security to 67 now. It was 65, but my generation, Gen X, we knew it was not going to be there for us. We knew, because we smelled a rat when we were teenagers, that this system is not going to work for us. And I've been saying it since I was a kid. There ain't going to be Social Security for us. There will be for the previous generations, but it ain't going to be there for us. And you pretty much will see that now, because they're just going to keep raising the age because of lack of funding. But we can send billions and billions to Ukraine. See, we always got money for war or warfare, but to take care of the mass of American people, oh no, can't do that. People have this capitalistic idea, sink or swim, but we bail out our banks. With taxpayer money, we bail them out every time. But when people needed a bailout during the lockdowns, oh, we can't do that. So we put millions and millions of people out of their homes. There are empty homes in a lot of places. It's a buyer's market, but they inflated the prices so much that's going to help crash the economy too. But not only it's going to be just the housing, it's also automobiles. People aren't buying vehicles anymore. I've seen the dealerships in my area sit dormant. There's only one person working the lot because I stopped in at Chrysler to see about paying off the remainder that my owe on the van, and they were wanting to buy it from me. I'm like, no, no more payments. I paid off my truck and everything else. I don't want a new vehicle. I don't want any more payments. And here's why: because it's so inflated right now. They're pushing people to buy, and it's easy to get credit even if you have shitty credit. No, now's not the time to buy anything. Wait till the economy falls flat on its ass because it's coming, and all the people that have knowledge knows it's coming. That's why you got to be patient. As a matter of when, we don't know, but we know it's coming. It's mathematical certainty. But back about the retirement. I'm sure you all heard about the violence. That's what the news is calling it, the violence over in France, where 2.5 million people took to the streets because their retirement age is 62. And Macron wanted to raise it to 64. And he did it. So they've been on strike since they've done that. And yeah, France may never have won a war or, really did anything big when it comes to warfare. But one thing they did get right is their revolution they had in 1789. And they get it right every time. They're the only ones that stand up to their government. We don't. You're lucky to get a few thousand people to show up to a rally when it comes for the working class. Unless they are directly affected, people don't care. And that's what it's going to have to get to that point where it affects everybody. And it does. Even though the unemployment and a factor and everybody losing their jobs didn't affect me, I know it probably eventually could. And the Christian inside me does not like to see people suffer. Unlike your oligarchs and your rich folks, they can care less. When it comes to empathy, these people do not know what that means. They don't even, they're oblivious to it. There was a psychiatrist that identified pure evil. And he said if you had to put a finger on it, it's people that lack empathy, unable to feel with their fellow man. Yes, that's evil. That can be cruel to somebody and not give it a second thought or have it disturb them in some way in the form of like PSD afterward, like it does on our soldiers. And then they commit suicide. 22 a day commit suicide. Sad. People are like, hey, it doesn't affect me. I don't see it. That's the problem here in America. We're not properly taught in our educational system that are things of a very importance. People who celebrate capitalism think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread to write the curriculum and approve this and approve that. As long as they're not critics of the system, go ahead. And you're right. I'm angry about that. This is knowledge that my generation and the generations before me should have known. It would have saved us a lot of heartache. We wouldn't be in this mess if the mass of people knew what I know. And to this day, people still don't know. They think they do because of what they've been indoctrinated to believe and accept without question. And when you try to explain it to them, it's like, how dare you? Like I just killed their cat or dog. It goes back to that saying, it is easier to fool a man than it is to convince him he's being fooled. And another thing you should look up, 4 million people rallied in Argentina. That was amazing. It was on YT. 4 million people was at a rally in Argentina. That was wild. That's an amazing amount of people. I don't even know. Has there ever been a gathering bigger than that? I mean, whoa. That's like taking Woodstock 4 times and putting it in one place. Because there were over 500,000 people that showed up to Woodstock to that rock festival up in New York State on that farm. If you do that 4 times, that's how many people are at this rally. And what it is, the working class rising up. Oh, and by the way, back to France, what happened there? No, the French were not violent. And what that was is the working class rising up, saying, you are not going to raise the retirement age to 64. But here in the States, we take it easy without complaint. We're raising it to 67. We may not be able to sunset the Social Security, but we're raising it to 67. How many people knew that? I'd like to know. But this is why it's going to be successful in France, just like in every other revolution. When the police side with them, it's over. If you read about the Russian Revolution with the leader of Lenin back in 1917, where they rose up against the Tsar. The Tsar went to send the Cossacks in, and the Cossacks joined Lenin. He had to advocate on a train. Chicken shit. He knew it was over. And the French know this through history. That's why the police knew, look, we're not going to fight our own people here. And they're working class just like we are. So we're going to take our helmets off and we're going to march with the protesters. And then that's when Macron knew it was over. 9 votes kept him in as the Prime Minister of France. 9 votes. If you let the people vote, it would have been a landslide to oust him. But the problem is you got people polarized, especially here in the United States. They have it in their head that one day that they're going to be well-to-do and they're going to be a millionaire. And a lot of people act like shame millionaires that they've never been a millionaire in their life, never going to be. Unless you win the lottery, it's not going to happen for you. They believe sucking up to the richest people and kissing their ass is going to get them to be well-to-do one day too. It works for a very tiny minority, but I wouldn't go about it that way. You know, you have better luck of making it up the corporate ladder being a beautiful female because you can sex your way to the top, because that's how it happens. I've seen it. When I worked retail, I seen this woman come get hired in as a clerk, and within a month, she was an assistant manager of a department, and then a year later becomes a manager of a freaking store because she was fucking the right person. That's the way it is. And we got people like, we got some of these leaders in our country are just totally hilarious. I mean, Donald Trump's the man. He accomplished things that no one ever accomplished. He actually paid off a porn star to keep her mouth shut. Think about that for a minute. It'll come to you. But to sit there and listen to all these red hat nut jobs sit there and tell me how Christian like this man is, and this and that and other thing, and yet he's married and banging a porn star. Okay, maybe in their twisted mind. Yeah, we all sin. I do too. I stub my toe with the best of them. But I don't sit there and claim to be all Christian like the second coming of Christ, and then happened paid off a porn star that I just banged while I was married. No. But basically, this is about the economy, and you know, my naysayers. You could say whatever you want, but I got the education behind me, and my colleagues. And I have to say, my colleagues are. I'd say they're a bit more better at it than I am, a little bit more informed, because they have the time to dig into more and read some articulations by other economists that write books. I don't. I mean, I get one here and there, but not enough to really capture. But folks, we may not see it in our lifetime, or we may end up seeing it in the next couple of years. Don't know. I'm not a crystal ball gazer. But one thing I will tell you is this: there is going to be a big change coming, and that change is economical. Nobody ever addresses the economic system we have. I do, because that's the core to the whole situation. We changed our economic system for a better one, like we have throughout human history, we wouldn't have had the problems that we have today. And is our economic system evil? Yes, it is. Ask any man of the cloth, they will tell you. Why? Because it exploits the mass of people for the tiny few. And yet, the tiny few that are the millionaires and billionaires of this world will tell you we are the takers, to where in reality, it's the other way around. They're the takers. Because what do? Absolutely nothing. Ain't none of them probably ever picked up a hammer in their entire life. None of them probably actually did any chores, like fold the laundry, do the dishes, mop the floor, paint the fence, and all that other crap. None of them ever had to do that. They had servers that did everything for them. They're lucky if they know how to tie their freaking shoes. And then when they get old enough, they can claim, "Oh, I'm a self-made man." Yeah, right. Your daddy did it for you. You're just living off the success of the person that came before you. What I personally have got and what I've done, I'm a self-made man. You're listening to one. I really don't brag about it, but nothing was ever handed to me. Like a bunch of us that you probably hear in my voice right now. It wasn't handed to you. The only thing I got from my dad was the knowledge of what I know, how to drive a truck. That's why I didn't have a CDL. I came to Prime and I passed the test within 3 days. And they wanted to know how I knew how to do that. That's because I've been driving these since I was 8 years old. My dad taught me. Hell, the trainer they gave me didn't know what a Joe dog was until I showed him. I knew more than what my trainer knew. He was a joy. I was a joy to have because I was a golden goose for him. You got that bonus money. Anyway, I just wanted to share that basically with you guys about Social Security. I'm just telling everybody that is over in the Philippines or Thailand or Malaysia, wherever you are, your only hope right now is your pension fund, whatever pension you get. And I would look into what your pension fund is tied to, what stocks are tied to it, and when the market does crash, it's going to affect pensions too. And let's say you got it tied into this company, and that company goes bankrupt, your pension just went with it. And if they're wanting to sunset Social Security, you're screwed because that bill is still there. But they did successfully raise the retirement age to 67. This is just a heads up for you guys because I don't want you all trapped over in another country and be a panhandler, in which you need to. I would set aside enough funds to get my butt back home. Because I'm telling you, this next crash is going to be deep and hard. Because it's not only affecting housing, it's affecting the auto industry. It's going to affect a lot of things, up into including our own currency. We'll be lucky if our currency remains the world reserve currency. Because of this BRICS that we're not involved in, a lot of countries are going with BRICS because they see which way the wind's blowing. Just like a lot of our American companies knew that. You got almost a billion and a half people that live in China alone. The majority of the world's population is in India and China. That's a big market. That's why a lot of American companies, they make more money over there than they do here. Look at the market share they got there. There's only 334 million people that live in the United States. China's got 5 times that population, so look at the bigger market. But I'm going to get out of here, guys. I just made this as a friendly reminder, pass along a little information. Thanks for everybody who showed up. Y'all have a good day.